Hello there and welcome to TEW 2020, January 1st, or January 4th technically, 2010, and the first Monday night TNA Impact. We start off the show with Mike Tenay and Taz walking backstage and just talking to the camera. They talk about the history of TNA all the way back from the early Asylum days. It's like filtered in with like different clips, like the Elix Skipper, Hurricane Rana off the cage, like Raven's Funhouse matches, Jeff Jarrett with the NWA World Title. It shows all of those days, all the way up to Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle, the main event Mafia in the last few years, and now where we are today, our Monday night debut with a brand new start. TNA is leaving the Impact Zone. We are going on tour to get out to show the amazing talent that TNA has to offer to a wider audience. Under the new leadership of Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, this is a new generation for TNA, with a new four-sided ring. They walk out to the spotlight, only thing lighting them. Welcome to the new genesis of TNA. Pyro goes off. Big pyro, brand new set, everything is new. It's a good little start if we're being honest. 54 rating. Just decided to introduce you guys to the save. Also introduce the in-game audience to the new things which are happening in TNA. With the new owners. Well, not owners, but new business partners of Dixie Carter being Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. Jeff Jarrett's kind of been pushed out. 54 rating though, not too shabby. And the first match of this new era is a match for people who've been around since, I think, the Asylum era. All of them have performed in the Asylum era. It's the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, taking on Christopher Daniels and Rhino. And it is the Machine Guns who pick up the win when Shelley makes Rhino tap out to the crossface, gets a 62 rating. Sabin and Shelley both getting 56 as tag team specialists, which is good. Daniels and Rhino did get much better performances, 58 and 64, irreversibly, respectively. But not too shabby overall. 62, what do we get on the dirt sheet? So Alex Shelley and the Machine Guns aren't very good baby faces, apparently. So work with that and turn them heel, because actually we are very short on heel tag teams. Everyone else is pretty alright. Actually, everyone was inconsistent, to be fair. Damn. And low experience, that will obviously improve over time. Next segment. The beautiful people feel a bit slighted that they are not the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. They invented Knockouts Tag Team Wrestling. Without them, there wouldn't be a Knockouts Tag Team Championship. And so they think that, so they will do everything in their power to make sure that they win the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Which they lead straight into a match. And it is the people of Madison Rayne and Velvet Sky taking on ODB and Tara. Obviously, Tara is the Knockouts champion at this point. ODB, person she beat for the belt, but they're both babyfaces, so it's quite an amicable rivalry at the moment. But a little bit of miscommunication between the two leads to Madison Rayne hitting the makeover on ODB and pinning her. So Madison Rayne has a pin over what is the former Knockouts champion. She wants to go after the Knockouts Tag Team Champions as well. Beautiful people, there's definitely good in their future. Because, let's be honest, both Velvet Sky and Madison Rayne were very comparable rating-wise to Tara. And ODB was quite a way off. So it does make me think that maybe we should be pushing Madison Rayne and Velvet Sky into the Knockouts title picture over somebody like ODB. 53 rating though, not too shabby. If we go into the dirt sheet, Mike Tenay is a voice of something, I don't know which for. Madison Rayne got bonus for Lacey Von Erich being on ringside. They held back because this was our story to match. Other than that, it was just inconsistency and poor momentum for the beautiful people, which we want to sort. Next up, a triple threat X Division match to determine a #1 contender to the Amazing Reds X Division Championship. Shannon Moore defeats Frankie Kazarian and Homicide in 1725 when Shannon Moore pins Homicide with the flying flip neckbreaker, which is just the... oh, what's it called? Blockbuster. Isn't that just the Blockbuster? It's also spelt wrong. Is it supposed to be neckbreaker? I don't know. I've never heard Shannon Moore's finisher be called that, so I don't actually know if that's spelt wrong or not. But I'm going to assume it's the flying flip neckbreaker, a Blockbuster. But Kazarian was by far the better performer in this match, but as a babyface, I didn't want him going up against Amazing Red, because he's also a babyface. So I wanted one of the heels, Homicide or Shannon Moore. I went with Shannon Moore, because I think there's a more interesting storyline we could tell with Homicide with the current roster that we have. A 48 rating, though, is not too shabby. If we go through our... not too much. Homicide has an awful gimmick, which is a massive shame. Next up, Desmond Wolfe is being interviewed backstage by Dom West when the Pope D'Angelo Dinero comes up to him and almost goads him into a match on next week's Impact. It's a little simple backstage segment. It sets up a match next week. We're going to be having Wolfe versus Dinero. Wolfe also in this interview announced that he is part of the British invasion. He is with Brutus Magnus, Doug Williams, and Rob Terry. They are he is with them, he is side of them, and he will be teaming with them in tonight's main event. An 8-man tag team match against AJ Styles, Sting, Kurt Angle, and a mystery opponent. Mystery tag team partner as well. And Dinero comes in, goads Wolfe into a match, and Wolfe agrees. Next week it will be Desmond Wolfe versus D'Angelo Dinero. 64 rating. I mean, everyone's pretty good on it, so I'm happy with that. We then get Bobby Lashley squashing Shark Boy. 3 minutes 21, Bobby Lashley beats up Shark Boy so badly, and it's a referee stoppage. Which basically, it's Bobby Lashley turning heel. Because again, we don't have much on the strength for the top heels of this company. So if Bobby Lashley, to make Bobby Lashley a top heel, let's see where we can go with it. And afterwards, Bobby Lashley lays out the challenge to AJ Styles for Genesis, warning him, should he choose to enter the ring against the Dominator, he will need a doctor on standby. Bobby Lashley will not stop until somebody forces him to stop. And are you brave enough to tell Bobby Lashley to stop? Lashley then picks up Shark Boy, hits another Dominator slam on him, ground and pounds him before road agents come out, physically having to, loads of them pulling Bobby Lashley away. He is a out and out heel now, and he has challenged AJ Styles for Genesis. We then get AJ Styles, Kurt Angle and Sting to question new general manager Hulk Hogan who the 4th man on their team is going to be. In this segment as well, Hogan asks AJ if he accepts Lashley's challenge, which AJ says, sure. He will fight Bobby Lashley at Genesis, and he will stop the Dominator. But Hogan promises, though, that he has the perfect partner for them in the main event. And if you know how this first head-to-head works, you know exactly who it's going to be. It's part of the shtick of this first head-to-head that this person has to appear. 74 rating, though, not too shabby. We then get a classic TNA match. Jeff Jarrett defeats Abyss in 1630 with a stroke. Commentators are putting over that in this new era, Jeff Jarrett is nothing more than an in-ring performer, so he has no leverage to pull anymore. So if he wants to get near the company, he's going to have to work his way up and earn it all himself. This is a good start, beating the monster Abyss. I would like to push Abyss more, but he has no stamina. He can't do the long main event matches, which I kind of want this company to have as an almost alternative. But 64 rating, not too shabby, I think. Yeah, Jeff's declining physically. He's not a good babyface. It's also a face versus face match, which never does too well. But yeah, this is the twilight of Jeff Jarrett's career. He'll probably have one more run in the main event. Like, going for the title. I don't think he's going to win it, but it's Jeff Jarrett. I feel like, yeah, we can give him one last run in the main event before pushing him down the card into the mid-card. 64 rating, though, not too shabby. And the main event, I believe, is next. And it is an 8-man tag as AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, and Sting take on the British Invasion's Desmond Wolfe, Doug Williams, Brutus Magnus, and Rob Terry. And Desmond Wolfe makes Kurt Angle tap out with the London Dungeons. Kurt Angle was by far the best in-ring performer in this match in '89. Everyone on the babyface team was much better in-ring than the heels, Wolfe being the standout for the heels with the 64, but that is still miles below the rest. And Jeff Hardy got a 74 and was really off his game. So that's very promising for his future. Hope he stays sober. But a 74 rating is not too shabby. I want to see if is it go for Sting and Angle, surely. One declining. Sting's declining. Angle isn't yet. So yeah, I think Sting is probably past his main event days. Despite the fact, God, I think he still has in real life, he still has 2 more title wins after this. But I think, no, Sting should be past his main event days, and we use some of the other guys. Use him in sort of angles to get other people over. Like, he's probably going to end up feuding with Desmond Wolfe. Because the reason why Kurt Angle lost is because Samoa Joe attacked him behind the referee's back. So, almost setting up a Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle feud. Whilst Bobby Lashley also attacks AJ Styles. So, yeah, the babyfaces definitely got protected in their loss. But a 74 for our first main event is not too shabby. And what do we get overall? We get a 64, which increases our pop in 24 regions. Now, for the first show of a game, for it to increase our, it's always a good sign. Now, I'm going to quickly go and book Explosion, and then I'll back to you with that card. And Explosion kicks off with Generation Me, Max and Jeremy Buck, taking on Raven and Stevie Ritz. And it's Generation Me pick up the win in just over 6 minutes. Jeremy Buck pinning Raven with more bang for your buck. Because simply put, the ECW alumni heels have insane decline right now. They are terrible stamina. They are massively on the down. And we can't be putting them in matches any, like 6, they were getting, I was getting stamina complaints for an 8-minute match. I'm not putting up with that. They are getting buried on their way out. I love Raven, I love Stevie Richards. Not in 2010 though. 55 rating though, 56 for Jeremy, 52 for Max. Good stuff for the Bucks. The Young Bucks, you could say. In the Knockouts division, Ayako Hamada defeats Alyssa Flash in just over 15 minutes with a rope hung cutter. Hamada gets a 43 for Flash. Not too bad either way. It's a good level. These are sort of like the upper mid card of the Knockouts division. They're not quite in the title picture like the Beautiful People and Tarsely getting in the 50s. But, you know, they're not that far behind OB, who I think got 46. And yeah, they were and that's with them holding back because obviously it's a B show. Who knows? Maybe if they were on an A show, they could put in similar ratings to those top level women, which is great news. I love a competitive division. Consequences Creed with Black Machismo, Jay Lethal at ringside, Defeats Akira Ranjin, 7 minutes 46 with the Hammerlock DDT. Creed gets a 43, 35 for Ranjin. Creed is someone I want to be pushing into the X Division, with Machismo, maybe even in the tag team as well. But I think definitely, as we know, Consequences Creed has a bright future ahead of him. 42 rating, not too shabby. Ranjin's an interesting... Consequences Creed has a legendary gimmick. Didn't know that. Both guys were holding back, and Creed is obviously inexperienced with low momentum, so we will want to be boosting that. That'll obviously improve with time. And the main event of Explosion, which is technically the main event of the taping today, in front of 2,786 in Georgia, the Forum Civic Center. Brother Ray pins Homicide as Team 3D defeat the Global Elites Eric Young and Homicide with a sit-out full Nelson drop, the Bully Bomb. 62 and 63 for the Dudleys, 44 for Homicide, 49 for Young. Homicide is the only person who's had to perform double duty on this day. But it is 57 rating overall, but also remember, Eric Young is the global champion at this point. So this does also influence that title picture, because I don't fully understand what the global title's for. It's a weird title. I assume it's a mid-card title similar to... That's just different to the X Division. But we'll work out its place in this world which I'm forming. Bully Ray is declining physical ability in 2010. This is the man who is still fighting for what used to be one of those prestigious world titles in 2023. Who hasn't even had his main run in TNA yet. He's still a tag team guy. But he's already declining. So it doesn't look like he's going to get that in this save, unfortunately. We're not going to get Bully Ray as a top main eventer, which is a shame. What do we get overall, though, for the Explosion taping? 52. Not too shabby. Gave more people a chance. But let me know what you guys thought of these two shows in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time.